Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanitrambake Devi Narayani Namosute. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 22nd of October 2025. I want to offer my prostrations, Ananta Koti Namaskar, to all the great sages and to Bhagavan, residing in the heart of all beings at all times. We're continuing to examine Aṣṭāṅga Yoga, and specifically the second stage of Aṣṭāṅga Yoga, the second limb, as more accurately stated, which has 5 niyamas, which have 5 disciplines, 5 actions to be taken, and that is Santosha, Saucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyay, and Ishwar Pranidhan. So we're still continuing to examine Tapas today, and then tomorrow we will move into this Swadhyay portion of this. Please remember that the word Tapas has multi-dimensional meanings. It can be translated as austerity, it can be translated as penance, it can be translated as a type of effort aligned that creates integration, not burnout. There's a lot of ways to talk about tapasya. So to continue from yesterday, because yesterday we were looking at some aspects of this, there was an equation that we looked at the very end, that tapas equals conscious friction plus sustained awareness, leading to refinement of being. This is where we left off yesterday. So to continue from that point, that tapasya is the yogic metabolism of resistance. It is the art of converting discomfort into strength, temptation into focus, and adversity into insight. Let's look at these points carefully. Yogic metabolism of resistance. Resistance is what? We have resistance in life, right? So simple examples. Someone may decide that no, we're going to wake up at 5 o'clock, for the next 2 months. Or maybe you're in some group, in some ashram or some spiritual place, and you have to wake up at 5 o'clock, even if you don't want to wake up at 5 o'clock, right? It happens in many ashramas when people are initiated, or they go for satsang programs, or they are in training in sadhana. They have to wake up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock very early. You see, so that trains the body, the mind in a particular way. The regularity of just waking up in the morning at the same time, that builds a lot of strength. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. This is where yogic metabolism comes into the picture. One has to decide how to transform the resistance, because there's always resistance. Just take our example from every day. We start satsang at 7:30 a.m. Unless there's really some reason to change that, we don't miss it a single day, right? So because we have not missed a single day for a long time, we don't want to miss also, that builds up a certain force. Nearly out of the 365 days, maybe 360 days, we are doing satsang every day at 7:30 in the morning. That builds up Shakti. It builds up an internal strength. We do 40 minutes, 45 minutes of all mantras and kirtans and stotras. Why? That's a type of tapasya. All of you coming online, Sachin doing this in the morning, all of us together. It is tapasya. It is done at the same time every single day. So this is one of the key points. If we want to develop our strength better, our internal strength, there is going to be some resistance. Yes. But we have to break through that. That will break through just by sticking to the rule, sticking to the niyama. That's why it's called niyama. Niyama means to deliberately set the right time. That, at 7:30 this satsang begins. Ganesh Prarthana begins exactly at 7:30. That's the way it goes. You see, it's like that. So many kinds of actions, once they are done regularly, like for example, people who do Ekadashi fast twice a month, then that's done at that time. Different kinds of niyamas are taken to bring about yogic metabolism. Now, this is an interesting way to put this. what is it that we're metabolizing? We are actually using energy to metabolize our experiences. ध्यान देना इस point पर. Every single hour of every day there is experience, except in Shushupti, deep Shushupti avastha, deep sleep. Assuming there's no other mixture in that, there's no experience of any kind in deep sleep, in real deep sleep. Other than that, there's experience all the time. Yogic metabolism is where the experience is converted, it is transformed, it is metabolized into a much more refined state. And to do that, one has to deal with the resistance that comes into the picture. So for example, people who wake up, let's say at 5 o'clock, someone decides to wake up at 5 o'clock every day for 1 year. Wow, it's a big goal, right? In the first 2-3 weeks, it's not easy. And then sometimes, no, I'm just not going to get up. I just cannot get. But no, I'm going to get up. I'll deal with it, whatever has to come. But this time has to wake up. You have to wake up at 5 o'clock. As a niyam, there's people who take these puja niyams. In the Swaminarayan Sampradaya, nearly everybody, if not everybody, does nitya puja. Unki personal puja hoti hai. They lay it out and they don't take any food, drink, water, nothing until that puja, 30 minutes, 45 minutes is done. Everybody does it, including all the gurus and everybody in the whole sampradaya, in other places also, other sampradayas also. That is discipline. That builds strength. Now, it is a metabolism. It's an interesting word, by the way. Metabolism is to break down and to extract the energies and the nutrients, etc. That's metabolism. So yogic metabolism is where we are taking our day-to-day experiences, putting them within a certain boundary, because there has to be a boundary. If we don't put our experiences within a boundary, we will just be lost. We will just be scattered all the time. So we have to put it in a deliberate boundary. And then from that, to take each experience, metabolize it, transform it in such a way that allows us to bring about much, much more better quality energy, better quality, just better quality bhakti, essentially. And this is where every experience that has resistance is dealt with. It's the art of converting discomfort into strength. Of course, there's always going to be some discomfort here and there. It's not easy. No sadhana is easy. Koi bhi sadhana hum karenge, sadhana has to be done. It's good for us. Sadhana has to be done, but sadhana by itself doesn't necessarily lead to God. You say, Bhagavan ka jo sakshatkar hai, that is not the result of sadhana. That is not the result of sadhana. It is despite sadhana. Sadhana is simply done. This is from a more bhakti point of view. Sadhana is done, so Bhagavan dekhte hai ki isko, what is his intention? The sadhak's intention. Does he really want to come to me? If so, I'll remove all the obstacles. I'll take care of it. Yoga kshema vahami. I'll take care of everything. Sadhana is our effort. But if sadhana is done by ishtabal, we don't have to worry about anything. Then the resistance goes away. And this is the whole point. We want to get to the point where there is no resistance at all. Resistance nahi hai. Okay, so we want to get to that point and we want to stay in that state. It's very, very interesting. Very, very powerful. To be able to move 1 hour at a time. In the hour of power. There used to be a Christian preacher, I don't remember the name now, when I was growing up. There used to be a TV show on Sundays called The Hour of Power. Very nice sermon was given, every week. I forgot the individual's name. The thousands of people would be attending in the massive church and online. And it's a very nice concept, right? Each hour of power. Write this down. Ye siddhant baat hai. It's a fundamental concept. Each hour, make it powerful, make it wonderful, make it joyous. And by doing so, that is tapasya. People think of tapasya as, something that is so filled with so much pain and resistance. Aisa nahi, it's not like that. Why does it have to be like that? It doesn't have to be like that. Not at all. It is in fact an opportunity to destroy impurities. How can impurity be destroyed? It is called Ashuddhi Kshaya. Asuddhi. The S is with the accent on top. So Ashuddhi. Ashuddhi Kshaya. Ksay. This is Sanskrit. Destruction of impurities. Kitni sundar baat hai ye. The destruction of impurity means that both physical toxins and psychological obstructions, things like laziness, doubt, distraction, self-pity, indulgence, these are gone. This is part of tapasya. That Sachin can say physically, just physical body में toxin sab nikal, remove them all. Get the diet right. Get the mind-body connection right. Get the exercises right. This is all tapasya. Get the medications right. Stick to the doctor's appointments properly. Get everything in place. Don't delay anything. These are the foundational stages. This removes physical toxins, drinking enough water, finding out what we need for the body so that the body can be the healthiest as possible, given the way it is right now. Because some things we cannot change right away. We may not be able to change some things at all. But it's okay. Make it better. Don't prevent further damage. And laziness, doubt, distraction, self-pity, indulgence, negativity from inside. Isko nikal dena. Totally nikal dena. This is called Ashuddhi Kshaya. Write this word down if you're taking notes. This is our sadhana for today. Every day there's a sadhana. Sometimes I forget to do this. Simple sadhana. This day that we have today, by the grace of God, we are not going to bring impurities, and we're going to destroy impurities. And how is that to be done? That is to be done by deciding the right steps to be taken in a harmonious way, by placing the senses and the mind in a certain boundary that is going to help us, so that we can meditate better, we can concentrate better, we can interact better, so we can carry out the wisdom that we already have. We already have a lot of wisdom. But when Sachin carries it out, applies it, then that is tapasya. Because I'm breaking through the resistance inside of me that doesn't want to apply the wisdom that is inside there. That is called Jnana Shakti. See, Jnana Shakti is Samarudam. Jnana Shakti is already inside of us. So this is all part of tapasya. Couple more points. Because we need to stop in a few minutes. I have an appointment at 9 o'clock. Somebody's coming here to check something at home. So we'll stop in about 10 minutes or so here. Unless the person knocks on my door. So we have to stop earlier. So it's very interesting. From a more Upanishadic point of view, tapasya is described as the generative principle of creation itself. This is a fascinating point. How creation, Bhagwan jo creation banate hai, wo bhi ek prakar ka tapasya hai. Brahman, the absolute consciousness, is said to have performed tapasya, like Bhagwan Shiv, let's say, Bhagwan Krishna, which gave rise to the cosmos, symbolizing that self-concentration precedes manifestation. Bhagwan ki Shakti, Bhagwan's, God uses his own power to create. That is a type of tapasya. And in fact, if you know, in the Badrika Ashram, in the Himalaya, there's Badrika Ashram. Wahan hai Nar Narayan Bhagwan ka ashram hai wahan. It's a Badrika Ashram is a place in the Himalaya. Wahan murti hai Nar Bhagwan, Narayan Bhagwan. Nar Rushi, actually they're Nar Rushi, Narayan Rushi. But wo Narayan ke avatar hai. And they are meditating continuously, without break. वो दिव्य भूमि है. There's a divine Badrika Ashram out of the Brahmand, and there's a Badrika Ashram in the Himalayas, which is the physical in this layer of reality. And they are doing continuous tapasya for the benefit of all the people in the world. Think about this. Bhagwan swayam tapasya karte hai. Hamare, for us. Bade bade sant hai. The big saints throughout the world, in every tradition, they are always praying, they are doing penances, they are doing tapasya, they're doing different sadhanas and all kinds of things. If in the highest levels of saintliness, they do it for the whole world. Sarva bhuta hite rata. ऐसी स्थिति है. So tapasya बहुत बड़ी बात है. And if we can do it in our lives, one day at a time, whatever we do in simple way, whatever we are doing, we're doing for our own development and breaking the resistance out, get the resistance out towards what needs to be done that is the best for us individually. And in that state, action is performed which is the best for everybody else. That is also tapasya. Just because somebody gets upset or angry or this or that, something happens outside, doesn't mean we have to respond in that way. We respond with steadiness, with compassion, with वो क्या है, वो बानी का तप है. It is a tapasya of the words. Tapasya is not just fasting and physical postures or whatever. It's not like that's there, but it's the right use of the power of words. बहुत ध्यान रखना. I'm telling myself first before anybody else. We all need to be aware of how we're using language, how much we're using it, in what way it is being used, in what context it is being. It has to be thought over it, not to just start talking just any nonsense things. Right? Very important. Very, very important. Many times in life, because of the lack of this quality of tapasya, sometimes a sentence is spoken out of anger, out of frustration, out of reaction, and that destroys the relationship with another person, another group of people. It can damage years of relationship. One sentence can do so. बहुत ध्यान रखना, ये प्रार्थना है. Particularly in families, ये बड़ा तपश्चर्या है. Because nobody's perfect in life. Particularly when you're staying with people for long, there's always going to be, some deficiencies that are going to come about from each other. All those kinds of things are there. One person has to be the light of tapasya and tolerance. जो भी है ठीक है. सहन शक्ति. योगी जी महाराज कहते थे, स्वामीनारायण संप्रदाय में योगी जी महाराज हो गए. वो कहते थे, सहन शक्ति ये जबरो गुण. गुजराती में. It's a very great quality. We don't have this titiksha, this sahan shakti, sahan karna. And then people say, how much am I supposed to tolerate? You can tolerate a lot, don't worry. Nothing, the world is not going to end because we're tolerating whatever we need to tolerate. It will go on. Tolerance, it will help deal with the situation, and that intelligence will come through bhakti, through prarthana, of exactly how to deal with even a very difficult situation. बहुत ध्यान रखना. Extremely important. Words spoken to another person should be sweet, not just on the surface for manipulation. People say this person speaks sweet words, but there's poison in the heart. And not like that. There has to be sweetness in the heart that shows up as sweetness in our language. बहुत ध्यान रखना on this point. This will make life fantastic. If we want to find joy in life, in every aspect of life, make our heart sweet, make our words express that sweetness. With genuine bhav. इसमें बहुत बहुत आनंद है. Lot of joy comes. Nobody's perfect in life. We are not perfect. How we expect other people to be? We expect other people to be in their best behavior, this, that, so many things. What's happening inside of us, we should see that first. This is all part of tapasya. This is verbal tapas. See, there's physical tapasya, verbal tapasya, mental tapasya. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, verses 14 through 16, 3 types of tapasya are described there. It's all application. पूरा application की बात है ये. The physical tapasya, simplicity. Keep things simple. Is it necessary to have, sometimes I'm really amazed. किसी का अवगुण तो we don't want to take that obviously. But some people have 50 pairs of shoes. I've seen it. 75 pairs of. When will you wear 75 pairs of shoes? इसका क्या मीनिंग है? कितना पैसा का वेस्ट है? ये क्या है ये सब? It is internal poverty. You don't need all those things. Simple life. Simple life. Cleanliness is the second dimension. ये भी एक प्रार्थना है सचिन की आप सबको, मेरे लिए भी यहाँ. Keep the home clean. Cleanliness leads to godliness. भगवान का मंदिर, तो मंदिर के जो रूम है, whole house is a मंदिर. Kitchen should be especially clean. Carpet should be vacuumed. Everything should be in the right place. So when you enter into the home, and anybody enters into the home, they feel like कितना सुंदर वातावरण है. ऐसा, the home environment, keeping the home environment clean is tapasya. Did you ever think about that? We don't realize these things. This is physical tapasya. The third component of physical tapasya is moderation. Don't indulge too much. Too much of anything is a problem. We are driven because of so much stimuli to overindulge in everything. And then on the other side, some people, are doing too much austerity. That is also not necessary. Moderation. The middle way. Buddha, Bhagwan Buddha. This was his whole teaching, the middle way. Moderation. Everybody's taught that. The Gita teaches that. The Buddha taught that. Jesus taught that. Guru Nanak Ji taught that. Because that's life. Even if they didn't teach it, we have to figure that out ourselves. We cannot live in extremes. Madhyam Marga. Moderation. So these are 3 points. Simplicity, cleanliness, and moderation are physical tapasya. The verbal tapasya, as we mentioned already, gentle speech, truthful speech, beneficial speech, pleasing speech. बहुत ध्यान रख. This is the one thing that really damages relationships. Because of our ahankar, because of our reactions from sthirta rakhna. Don't expect people to be saints. Expect yourself to be saint. Don't expect anybody else to be a great saint. Expect only from yourself the highest. That is, the individuals who have reached the highest levels of spirituality, you know how they reached it? Just by this one quality. They expect it from themselves. They did not worry about anybody else. They wish well for all. They kept 100% attention on oneself. Gunatitanand Swami कहते हैं, स्वामीनारायण भगवान के बहुत बड़े संत हो गए. Many people believe that he is incarnation of Akshardham itself. Akshara Brahma का अवतार है. वो तो सब तत्व की बात है. वो क्या कहते हैं? પોતાના કલ્યાણમાં દ્રષ્ટિ બરાબર રાખવી, બીજાનો લોટો જોટો કરવો. Because his life was spent in the villages near Junagadh in Gujarat, if you go there sometime. Junagadh में original Swaminarayan Mandir out of the 6 that were built. Not this BAPS. BAPS came later on, but original Swaminarayan Mandir है वहाँ Junagadh में, उसके महंत थे वो. And he's traveled in 500 villages. Uneducated people. These are villagers. They don't have knowledge of Sanskrit, the language and scriptures and all that. They're villagers. Little bit of things they know here and there. He has to speak to them in their way. And his teachings are so extraordinary that all of those villagers could understand the highest truths of Vedanta, highest truths of spirituality in simple language, like this kind of statement. Potana kalyanma, drishti barabar rakvid. Bijano loto joto. See, this is an old Gujarati word from that time, 240 years back. He's saying keep attention on your development, kalyanam, on your own development. You do not worry about others. Help others, guide others if necessary, no doubt. Sometimes in life, many times, we are so concerned about improving others. We cannot improve anybody in life. भूल जाओ, ये बात ही छोड़ दो mind में से. नहीं होगा. We have no power to improve anybody except ourselves, if we can even do that. That's the only person Sachin has to improve is myself. This is called Uddareda Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasadit. We have looked at this verse before. And this attention on oneself and one's own development is the greatest tapasya. इससे बड़ी कोई तपश्चर्या नहीं है जीवन में, और भगवान की प्रसन्नता इसमें से होती है. You know, right now in the modern civilization in India, in Vrindavan, there is a Shri Premanand Ji Maharaj, बहुत famous संत है. उनकी स्थिति, उनके बहुत videos है. Just put Premanand Maharaj in the YouTube, you'll find thousands. I mean, there might be thousands of videos. I don't know how many. And the beautiful thing about this is that saints and people from all over the world are coming to Vrindavan to have his darshan. We get a chance to see sab sant parampara from throughout the Hindu tradition, particularly. They come for, and kitne bade sant hai. Abhi in the modern world right now, it's a great guidance. Unke jo sab teaching hai, what more do we want? Aise bade sant abhi hai, these kinds of extraordinary beings. He's a worshipper of Shri Radha Ji. But unki sthiti to dekho. You see, he is just absorbed in love. Others are coming, he's bowing down to everyone, doing Dandvats Pranam. He's got kidney failure, he has so many health issues and all that. कितना ज्ञान है, कितनी नम्रता है, कितनी भक्ति है, ये गुण लेने. To take these qualities, and because he kept 100% attention on himself, the whole world is coming to him. इसको कहते हैं भगवान की दया और कृपा. And he is an instrument. He doesn't say he's doing anything. It is being done by Radha and Krishna. They are doing it through him. And that doesn't mean we have to be sitting in some ashram somewhere. Wherever we are, that is ashram. Whatever our life situation is, whoever we are with, wo ashram hi hai. It doesn't mean we have to have thousands of people coming for our darshan. That nobody's going to come for. Not even a mosquito will come for our darshan. Who do we think we are? We don't have to worry about who's going to come, who's not going to come. We have to keep attention 100% on ourselves. And the moment actual progress happens spiritually, automatically all of the right people, whoever are going to be connected, is going to happen automatically. Not because of any ego. It is going to happen because that is the divine will. वो दिव्य इच्छा है. इसमें अहंकार का तो कोई स्थान ही नहीं है in this spirituality. बिल्कुल नहीं. If that comes, it is a contaminant. It is a poison. इसका कोई स्थान नहीं है. Right? So this is, see, physical tapasya, verbal tapasya, 100% attention on one's own development. And then the third level of tapasya, the mental level, that is even more difficult. Very difficult. Not to have a negative thought, negative feeling towards anyone. In the BAPS Swaminarayan Sampradaya, Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, some of you have heard his name. He's not there now. He, some years back he had passed away. But he was asked one time, Swamiji, what is the one thought you never had? He says, I've never had a thought that anything negative should happen to anybody in the whole life. If somebody asks us this thing, I don't think we can answer like that. They would have to ask us in the last 24 hours, how many times did you have the negative thought? It's something like that would basically be asked. But we can get out of that. Don't worry. We don't need to beat ourselves up. Let it go. Get into that point. But today, in this moment, in this hour, in the next hour, in the hour upon hour, no negative thought, no negative feeling towards anybody. It is including all the politicians. Wish well for them. People have so much hatred towards some of the politicians and all that. Isme se kya milega? We are contaminating our inner space. Maybe they're doing some wrong things and all that. That's a different matter. That maybe you have to deal with that somehow, if that is our role. But negativity towards anybody, that contaminates us. And this is part of mental tapasya. Our natural serenity. Sthirta, shuddhata, pavitrata. These are the words we use. Serenity, silence, self-control. This is intentional transformation. We talked about it yesterday in the Angel Wing PTP program. Those programs are foundational to all these satsang ideas. Intentional transformation. That where am I transforming into? Jivan Mukta Sthiti. Jivan Mukta banna hi hai. Not to back off. Don't back off at all. Guarantee is there from the scriptures, from the saints. If we don't back off, all of us together, if we don't back off, we will reach Jivan Mukta Sthiti. 100% we'll reach it in this life. We don't have to wait for the next life. As we apply these satsang ideas, this is not something Sachin is making up, dreaming up. This is all coming from thousands of years back. This is all from Patanjali. This is only exposition on the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And he also brought that was before him. He systematized it. It is coming from Paramatma. Bhagwan is the one who created the Sanatan Dharma. It is revelation in the mind of the Rishi Parampara, Guru Parampara. No human being has created these things. This is all Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Bhagwan Krishna and Bhagwan Shankar are the two main gurus in the entire Sanatan Dharma. They are the gurus. They are the ones who brought all this out. And so they are, and wo human level nahi hai, wo Bhagwan ki level hai wo. So it is a guidance through the gurus, through the scriptures, of how we can evolve into the most extraordinary state of living. जिसको जीवन मुक्त स्थिति कहते हैं. वो स्थिति बनानी है. Yes. और इसके साथ अखंड भक्ति. Prem, 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 love. And we mentioned it yesterday also. Place a boundary regarding the sense objects. That is tapasya. That is not suppression. It is not indulgence, overindulgence. It is the right amount of interaction, because every experience is a limited experience. Don't run after it. And don't just reject it in extreme. Some things we may need to reject, but the experiences we want to have, you can have them, bring them into the modality, into the fold of energy conservation, transmutation, higher realization. Bring them into that state where our internal Shakti is not damaged. ये बहुत important concept है. We've been saying that for many years in Angel Wing and in Satsang also. Shakti, our internal Shakti is not to be damaged under any circumstances. And when we realize this point, that is the greatest tapasya. It's a master key. It will open all the doors. हाँ, बहुत ध्यान रखना इस पर. बहुत ध्यान रखना. And that is why we do mantra sadhana, we do havans and puja. Yes, why we are doing that? So that we realize that our internal Shakti, ये भगवान की शक्ति है, and that is to be used for seva. It is to be used for bhakti. It is to be used for the best quality action. It is to be used for enjoyment also. Don't discard worldly enjoyment. Worldly enjoyment is going to be there, but it needs to be brought into the overall domain of spiritual realization and not remain in the domain of ahankar. Amazing. Well, let's stop here for now because I have somebody's coming in a couple of minutes here. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ganganapate Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Shrim Rim Klim Glom Ganganapate Varavarada Sarvajaname Vashamane Swaha Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tata Swaha Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Swaha Om Krim Kalikaye Swaha Om Hrim Shri Mahalakshme Swaha Om Aim Shri Mahasaraswate Namaha Om Aim Hrim Klim Namaha Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu.